So the two guys who have been the face of this really successful World Cup tournament for me have been Andrew Giuliani. He's going to join me coming up at 8:30 this morning. And my dear friend and colleague who follows me each and every morning here at 10 o'clock on WABC, also on Fox and Friends, and the host of the best cable show out there today, 10 p.m. Sunday nights on Fox News One Nation, Brian Kilmeade. Giuliani, Kilmeade, Giuliani, it doesn't matter. They are the faces of soccer here in New York City. And here we go. Yamal versus Messi. This is as good as it gets. Now, you know who I'm rooting for. Spain has proven during the Iran war they hate America. We know the Spaniards are also anti-Semitic. And we know Argentinian fans, they hang Israeli flags at their games and even pissed off the coaches of Egypt. So clearly, you know that Sid Rosenberg is rooting enthusiastically for Argentina. The problem is, I'm not a big soccer guy, but I really learned a lot this tournament. I don't see anybody beating Spain. Their defense is like the old New Jersey Devils. You can't move the ball down the field. They shut out France. My fear is they'll do the same to Argentina on Sunday. But what do I know? Here's Brian Kilmeade. Brian, good morning. Let's start with this. Is this the dream matchup?
I think it is. I mean, for the world, absolutely. For the people that love soccer, you got the matchup. You got the high-profile European champions against the defending World Cup champions. There hasn't been a repeat World Cup champion since, I think, 1962. And then you got the greatest player of all time, still thriving at the age of 39, playing against the next great player, a 19-year-old, they were just featured him on 60 Minutes a couple of months ago. The guy wears braces. I mean, the guy should really just be starting his first year of college, and he's among the best players in the world and the most popular sport in the world. So it's going to be fantastic. But look, Sid, what you just described, if you know sports, you could get a feel through this. I've noticed, like, people that are open and just watch a game, you go watch a game, okay, what's going on here? I watch a few games, got a few trends. I could see the way offenses and defenses lay out. It's similar to lacrosse, very similar to hockey. There's a lot of the same concepts, how you move without the puck, without the ball, very similar. So you could figure it out. And then what are teams doing? In a way, you know, Argentina's just finding a way to stay alive. Remember, they were down to Cape Verde. Remember, they were down to Egypt, and Egypt had a controversial goal taken away. And then if England doesn't stop playing offense, my goodness, these are the best coaches in the world. They invented the game. They go up 1-0. It's an evenly balanced game. Maybe England's getting better at the play. They take out their forward. They drop them into midfield. They remove another midfielder. They put in a defender. They give up on offense. And then you have the best offense in the world able to go work for 35 minutes and try to find a seam, and they finally do. A beautiful cross over a 6'2 defender into off the head of a 5'11 forward. Goal, 1-1. And then the second goal, when it was time for England to get back on offense, they heard he had subbed out their forwards. So they can't get into offense. Now, of course, that's a dumb move. And I just say to myself, wait, you are coaching England. If I could sit at home and say, what are you doing? And now everyone's saying, what did they do? How could they possibly, the same team that came back against Mexico in Mexico, on that elevation, you know, it's 100,000 feet above the earth, in Azteca Stadium. This same England that found a way to win just gave up that game. So Spain should win. But the Argentina's got a way of finding a way to score. And they got the best player ever. And it's good for our league, MLS, that you could come here at 35, just win a World Cup. And they go, oh, that Messi's given up. He's going to that American League where he's just looking to retire. Wrong. He wins a championship and then comes back at 39 and hasn't lost a step in his game. That makes our league look good.
No question about it. And again, Messi plays his home games in Miami. And in Miami tomorrow, the day before the big matchup at Giant Stadium, you're going to get the losers of the last two games. And that, of course, is France taking on England. And my daughter has her friend staying at my house for the last 9 days. Emily, she lives in England. She was heartbroken a couple nights ago. She's actually looking forward to the game against France on Saturday, even though it's really just for a consolation prize. So you got a big game coming up tomorrow and the bigger one coming up on Sunday. Let's talk Trump. I can't believe in America 2026 that two major networks don't air his speech last night. I don't care if you hate him. I don't care if you think he's talking about the same nonsense for 7 years. You don't want to hear it anymore. He's the president of the United States. How ABC and NBC did that. CBS carried it, but they also kind of wimped out halfway through. They said, okay, enough of this. And to be honest, Brian, as I was watching it, I was confused myself. It looks like China did something wrong, but I didn't really hear the president explain to me how China changed even one vote. So the networks, they should be embarrassed, but watching the speech, I was mostly confused. I think I speak for most Americans.
Yeah, I want a secure election. I don't think I learned anything last night, but for him to call out China, knowing how delicate those relations are, that's why he was holding off on the massive Russian sanctions, because he wanted to sanction any country doing business with Russia. And he goes, really? You want me to sanction India and China? They're prominent trade partners with us. If I tariff them, they'll tariff us. It's going to hurt us too, but it's to help bring Russia to its knees. So he's so careful about that. At the same time, he said you affected you just hacked off 220,000 voters' information.
Million.
220 million, information. But what do they do with it? Someone pointed out to me, do you know if I'm a political operative, I could get voter information. And then I figure out how to target. What is Sid interested in? These are the things he's interested in. This is how to win him over. So I'm pretty sure that micro-targeting existed. So we're supposed to get something from the CIA today. What I found most intriguing is when he said he was not given his full intelligence brief because people had sold in his intelligence apparatus in 2018 were sold out to China. They were holding certain things back. Also, he said that certain people in the media were paid to write negative things about him. I need to know who those people are, right?
I think you could probably figure some of that out. But, yes, I want to know, too. And I was intrigued by that, too. But, yeah, you can probably figure it out. This is the great Brian Kilmeade. Follows me each and every morning right here on WABC. One Nation and Fox and Friends on Fox News. Okay, Brian, so you are also great at this, and that is breaking down where we are in this Iran conflict. I've got KT coming up later on today. She's been very high in what the president and America has done. I have my moments. Some days I feel good about it. Some days I'm like, nah, Brian Kilmeade, where are we?
Well, look, this is what we said. You said, I don't know if we should have done this, but if you're going to do it, and you told me, Sid, I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong. Finish it. Do it right. Don't go halfway.
That's right.
So he's not going halfway, and he's got a system, and they got a plan, and they're going to physically open up the strait. Physically, they're bombing out structures, killing off bridges, damaging roads that would stop any infiltration. Little by little, we're going to physically take over the strait, and we have begun to blow up bridges last night. At the same time, our not much damage has been done to our bases. We know we're getting to them when they said that if you continue to do this, we're sending the Houthis out to shut down the Red Sea, which is 7% of the world's oil. Now, they won't be able to shut it down. They'll be able to damage it, and merchant ships can't get insurance if they go through there. But we're doing significant damage. We're not going to put people on the ground. If anyone says, Donald Trump wants to put 150,000 troops on the ground, no one's saying that, including J.D. Vance. He's got to knock it off. These people, these war hawks want to do 150,000. Nobody said that. Don't just make up a story. Like the Mets better not trade their whole starting five. No one said they're trading their starting five. So don't even bring it up. What J.D. Vance is doing behind the scenes, I'm not too happy with the 3 hours with Joe Rogan. Not too happy with a lot of the stuff he was saying. He sounds like a pundit. You're the vice president, all right? Back up the president. Stop the shots at Israel. There are people in the Israeli government, really, that want to have perpetual war? Are you crazy? Are you that stupid? There's nobody who wants war with Israel. Israel does not want to have perpetual war. They have to reduce the threat or eliminate it. And they don't want to stop halfway. That's a lot different than people in their government want perpetual war. Nobody benefits. You think Israel wants to take their economy and put 40% of it into military and not build up their infrastructure and their innovation and their business sector? Come on. And for the vice president to say that, it's outrageous. I love what the president's doing. I think he's letting the military do it. I love the way he's keeping a steady hand. I see a major breakthrough in the next few days. I think by Monday, you're going to see some things happening. By the way, they have not shot at a single ship in 4 days.
Brian, I'm glad you brought up J.D. Vance. I know you see my tweets, and I ripped them. But I've been ripping J.D. Vance for months, and I've been saying time and time again, I need Marco Rubio to be my nominee in 2028. I want no part of Vance. And he didn't just sound like a pundit. He sounded like Tucker Carlson. And he went out of his way to say, hey, I don't take my marching orders from Tucker Carlson, but he sounds a lot like him. And all the sycophants of Trump and this administration, and I'm one of those. I'm a Trump sycophant, but I don't like J.D. Vance. They're like, wait a second. What did J.D. say that was so bad about Israel? What did J.D. say that was so bad about Israel? Real people that I work with, that I respect. Are they kidding me? So I'm glad you brought up J.D. Vance, because it's not just the Jews. If you understand anything about the America-Israel relationship, you should be furious.
Yeah, and by the way, it's a two-way relationship. It's not just us helping Israel. Israel helps us unbelievably. The latest was the would-be assassination attempt. The intelligence shared. If you talk to anyone in the CIA, they're in awe of the Mossad. The way they work together it's indispensable. And these idiots, the 103 that voted against Israel aid, that's the future. That's why Netanyahu said what he said last month. We got to be prepared to manufacture our own weapons. You're right, because he understands American politics as good as any American politician, and they want to blame Netanyahu for everything. So, I like Israel, or I don't have anything against Jewish people. I just don't like this government. Well, just wait. When the next government comes in, whenever that is, they're going to go, my problem is Hezbollah, Hamas, and Iran. I don't care what your policy is. Any other leader, unless they sell their soul in Israel, has to handle Iran. So they're going to realize, or they know it already, that Netanyahu is not the problem. I think Steve Witkoff thinks Netanyahu's the problem. Oh, he's worried about his election. Yeah, because he wants to do a good job and win, maybe. But he doesn't attack Hezbollah for ratings points. He's attacking Hezbollah to get the northern residents of Israel back in their homes, because they're getting rocketed. So this is not hard. I don't understand why people are being so stupid about it. I really don't.
Well, because they hate the Jews. They hate the Jews. They go, no, I'm not anti-Jew. I'm anti-Zionist. I'm anti-Bibi. And you and I have both had Bibi on our shows the last week or so. He was on with you. He was great. And on TV, he was on with me on this radio show Monday. He was great. And he's tremendous. It's not just Witkoff. It's even Jared Kushner. He's another guy that's pretty critical of Bibi. So, on one hand, Trump knows how great Bibi is. On the other hand, in his other ear, he's got his son-in-law, he's got Witkoff, he's got the vice president telling him how bad Bibi is. So that's why I think the president sounds a little confused every now and then. Okay, 2 days away from the big show coming up on Sunday night, One Nation, 10 p.m. Sunday nights. Great show on Fox News. Brian, what can we look forward to?
This Kathy Hochul comes out and says no more data centers in New York. Really? You're banning data centers. You're going to deny upstate New York more jobs, more economic opportunity, just like Cuomo did with fracking and hurting our utility bills by shutting down the nuclear power plant Indian Point. Mike Rowe is going to break down how many jobs are we blowing, and are there legitimate concerns with data centers, about water and about utility bills. Didn't the president handle that? Mike Rowe is going to break it down. Plumbers, pipe fitters, electricians, all would be building these data centers. And by the way, I think that they'll turn out that if China's doing anything, they're advertising, trying to get people to push back against these data centers so they can catch up. Brian Mast on this war, he's chairman of foreign relations in the House. He wants to be the next Secretary of State should Rubio ever run or step aside. He's going to be with us, too. He gave up his legs in fighting in the war. And then I got Brian Johnson. This guy wants to live forever, the biohacker. He just got a terminal illness. Brian Johnson is the guy who's basically living in a bubble, reversing the aging process. So I want to talk to him about what he's going through. I also have My last guest is Rob Blagojevich. He's going to be on. They're doing a special on him. I also want to get him on Chicago and everything else going on with the Chicago Teachers Union, who are basically communists. Tommy Laren's going to be with us, who I am responsible for the relationship you have with her now. So I feel as though she's going to be on doing some media moments for us. So it's going to be a fun show.
Sounds like a great show. And talking about Kathy Hochul, my next guest this morning after you on this show happens to be the man that's going to beat Kathy Hochul, your executive in your hometown in Nassau County, the great Bruce Blakeman. Kilmeade, as always, what a tremendous job you just did here this morning. Really amazing. I love you. And I really want Argentina to win. I don't think they're going to, but I am rooting hard for Argentina. Let's go, Argentina.
And don't forget about October 17th, Old Westbury. Sid will be on stage in the round. BrianKilmeade.com. The Uniting the States tour, as my book launches. My book launches on the 13th, so it'll be an exciting show. Another reason to love America.
I love it. Another reason to love America and you. Have yourself a great weekend, Brian Kilmeade. We'll all be watching on Sunday night. You're the best. Thank you so much.
Go get him, Sid.
There he is. Brian Kilmeade comes up after me each and every weekday morning at 10 o'clock right here on 77 WABC, Fox and Friends. And you just heard it. What a great show he has coming your way. 10 p.m. Sunday night. It is One Nation on Fox News. Take a break. 3 more hours to come. Big names. Bruce Blakeman. We'll talk to Joseph Tacopina. We got some surprise guests. Even George Santos is stopping by today. The Friday edition of Sid and Friends in the Morning rolls on.
Thanks for listening to Sid and Friends in the Morning. You can hear Sid and Friends in the Morning weekday mornings at 6. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?